Welcome to Chapter 17. It's 5:10 a.m. It's time for the penultimate chapter of Ghost Trick. The upended submarine continues to sink slowly but surely, a long, long journey to the bottom of the sea. Lynn and the little lady found in the darkness and salt water closing in on them. My head is filled with one giant question. What in the world is this thing?
What the hell?
I see you managed to survive, detective.
Hey, you're that guy.
Excuse my appearance, I seem to have lost my body. Oh, and you there. You're the ghost who's been saving Lynn all evening, aren't you? You knew about me all along? Of course. What else would explain all those unnatural things happening?
If you knew, how come you didn't do anything about it? And how come you decided to save us? Thought you wanted to get revenge on us.
I don't really know. You gotta tell me, I need to know. Who in the world are you?
So Sissel! What happened? You turned into a ghost with shades!
I can't hold on to that image of myself any longer. You can't remember who you are? That's right. I came all this way tonight trying to chase down my lost memory. For quite a bit tonight, I thought it was you, Sissel. Sissel? My name isn't Sissel. I bet you'll remember real soon. Who you are and who I am too. What? The man in front of me is not me. I'm further from the truth, or maybe not. Something stirring in my mind, a memory about to emerge. Do I know this man? Now that I've shed my image of myself, I feel like I'm one step closer to the truth. Ugh. Long night.
I'll say. Bitchin' outfit.
Thank you. They've got us good. It's all over for the submarine. Its engine room's destroyed, there's a hole in the hull. It's sinking as we speak.
What are you doing here? I thought you had to deal with those people.
They betrayed me. I was a fool to trust them. They already have what they wanted now. The Temsic fragment. I didn't know they had it all figured out.
You mean they figured out the source of your powers?
Yeah, that meteorite's radiation has two effects on living creatures. It gives power and time.
If you don't mind, we'd like to hear more.
Yup. These 10 years. I've been watching that junkyard superintendent do his research, and I think I've got some of it figured out. The meteorite's radiation gives spirits special powers, like possessing and manipulating objects. And in my case, swapping objects. Exactly. Apparently, there are individual differences in the powers we get. And it seems these powers change as time goes on. They do? My powers have changed over 10 years. At first, I could only manipulate small living creatures. Now then, how do you suppose we got the powers? It's simple.
It is, huh, then?
In a nutshell, we died while exposed to the energy emitted by the meteorite, as radiation.
That's what does it? Dying while being exposed to radiation?
On that day 10 years ago, I got hit by a big fucking rock hit me in the back! So, granted, that's obviously why it got to me. A fragment of the meteorite pierced my heart and I died. So of course I received special powers. Hey, wait a minute. Is that how I got mine?
You know, that might be right. Aren't the Temsic remnants right there in the park at the bottom of the crater?
And Missile lost his life in the crater. I must have died in the presence of the meteorite's radiation too. Another effect of the meteorite's radiation has on us that it gives us time. Again, I think this time effect is centered around the theme of death, but it's not all that clear. So the fact that I can return to 4 minutes before a person's death is another effect of that meteorite? One of the characteristics of that meteorite is the ability to replay the moment of death.
Replay the moment of death. This is all so strange and confusing, I can't take it all in!
It makes about as much sense to me as anything else! Yeah, strange and confusing. That just about sums up the object that pierced my body that day. Thanks to that meteorite fragment, my very existence is a contradiction. What do you mean? That day, when the fragment pierced my heart, I lost my life. However, because it remained inside me, that fragment continued to constantly regenerate my body. In other words, my body was continuously cycling between the moments that separated my life and death.
What?
My body's vital function stopped 10 years ago, but my body's time is perpetually stopped at the moment before death. Time just stopped, huh? So I just simply existed, not really alive, not really dead. That pretty much sums up these 10 years, this last decade ever since that incident in the park. My body hasn't aged a day, my hair hasn't grown an inch. Come to think of it, that old pigeon guy mentioned something. He said he couldn't cut the guy's body with a scalpel.
So I guess as soon as an incision was made, his body would be regenerated.
Before I left this country, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to get revenge on the people who stole our lives.
Our lives?
As part of the deal, I made those guys promise to cooperate.
Cooperate? You mean the kidnapping?
It all went fine. I manipulated the justice minister and made him issue the execution order. But I thought he might call off the execution at the last second. So that's why he wanted his daughter kidnapped.
But they kidnapped the wrong girl.
Little did I know. They had their own reasons for cooperating.
Huh?
Their objective was to wipe out anyone who had to do with Temsic. Detective Jowd was one such person, so they were happy to cooperate there. Inspector Cabanella and that junkyard super, they were slated to be wiped out too. And, as it turns out, I was one of their targets as well. So they stole my Temsic fragment, and here I am. But they had one more final target. You, detective.
Me?
If you weren't in the park 10 years ago, not days.
Not days.
Not days. I never would have thought of doing something as stupid as taking a hostage.
Okay, my bad.
I know.
What?
10 years later, and you become a detective looking into Jowd's case. Tonight, I invited you to a quiet spot on the edge of town. It was a trap, you see. Back to square one. I told you who I was. You never saw my face that day 10 years ago. So of course you didn't recognize me. I took possession of you to make you shoot me. Your subconscious resisted me. Such incredible power. It was the first time I wasn't able to control someone completely. The aim was off and the first shot missed the mark. And for some reason you decided to shoot me enough in your resistance that I landed ass up. The junkyard was equipped with security cameras. I knew you'd be wanted for murder. That was my plan anyway.
Jigo gets another appearance!
But they had other ideas. They simply wanted you wiped out. But then, something threw a big monkey wrench into your scheme. Into everyone's scheme. Well, it was me, wasn't it? That's right. I was supposed to meet up with them after that, but then something went wrong.
What happened?
My body disappeared. Ah, the inspector in white was responsible for that. My precious bargaining chip was in the body. I had to get back no matter what. That inspector caused me no end to trouble.
Well, why were those people targeting me? I've never even heard of the Temsic meteorite.
Because you were looking into the Joud case, they thought you would find out about Temsic sooner or later. Oh, this is it. And that's pretty much the whole story. The only thing left to do now is wait for the water pressure to crush us.
Oh no!
There are no cores that link from here to the water's surface. I have an idea. We'll hook up the phone line, and there's no communication cables down this deep. They're meant for the submarine, to be my coffin. A coffin for the dead. There's no escape.
I think I kind of understand now. What you've been feeling these 10 years.
You what?
This feeling cut off from the world, all alone in a submarine, sinking slowly toward the bottom of an endless sea. This must be how you felt. Ugh, what the fuck? What the hell's going on? Lynn? Camila! Is it true we're stuck here? Well, about that, absolutely we're dead. We're so dead right now. If my dad was here, I bet he'd save us. Oh, Camila, I'm so sorry. I've died like 50 times.
That's funny. What is it, Sissel? There's something I don't understand. Why would they go to all the trouble of detaching the control room? What? Why didn't they just steal the Temsic fragment and escape if that's what they wanted? Why'd they jettison your body off to the sea? Good question. Guess it doesn't matter why now. We'll never find it. We have no idea where it launched to.
Wait a minute! Yes, we do!
You have the transmitter?
This'll tell us where Joud is!
That present from the inspector in white.
That's right! Joud told me to hold on to it, conveniently. And now the bullet's still in the person's body in the command room!
What bullet?
The bullet we put in here to bug you!
You son of a bitch!
I know!
Wait a minute, though. Even if we find out where it is, how do we get there? We should be able to figure something out between the three of us. With our powers, right, Miss Lynn?
Right, and wait a minute, what about a torpedo?
A torpedo?
In any case, it's way too early to give up.
Looks like Detective Zhao's our last hope.
Let's get started.
Hey, look, grapes! Who wants grapes? I've got grapes here. Torpedo room.
Torpedo room, huh?
There might be another torpedo left there. I'll go check it out. I get it. You're gonna use it to ram the control room. Well, I don't know about ram. Well, we'll blow up Zhao. Because that'd be funny as shit. It'd also end the game early. So let's try and do that. Alright, I'll see you there. Sometime later.
It looks like the torpedoes can be launched manually with switches. There are 2 tubes, so there should be one on the left. I guess the first thing we have to do is load it in.
When it comes to missiles, you can count on me.
I'll enter the coordinates of the command room to the torpedo, blah blah blah, techno blah, Captain Spock. And I just turned on the backup power. We ought to be able to use them now.
Let's try it.
Good luck!
Now that one won't move. What'll happen to the 2 ladies? I think that's up to us and our powers. What? There's no time to be standing around unsure of ourselves. You lend us some strength? Of course! Count on it! Let's go ahead and unlock your power real quick. Let's switch out the switches. Aha! As I thought. There we go, the torpedo's serviceable.
All set on this end, but something's odd.
What is?
The command room, it looks like it's slowly sinking.
Sinking?
Yeah, like it's completely running out of power. I wonder what happened.
I don't know, but I guess I'll go find out.
Okay, hop into the missile. I'll launch it.
Thanks!
I've already set the course. It'll head toward the command room. 12 seconds after launching, it'll pass by the command room for an instant. That'll be your window to jump over to it.
Got it. And then we'll find a way to come back and save you. That'll probably be my last task tonight. Just hold on until we get back. Alright, come on, Missile. Missile? I can't go. Why? I just can't. How could I leave? I can't leave Lynn and Camila behind. I can't do it, damn it! Missile. I swapped the switches so the missile can be launched. You'll have to do the rest, Sissel. I can't do it either. I can't ask Missile to come with me after that. I understand exactly how he feels.
I want you to go, Missile.
But Miss Lynn!
You staying here won't change our fate. But if you go with Sissel, you might be able to make something happen, and that's our only hope.
Well, what if that something doesn't happen? I'll never be able to see you again. Never, ever again. Even I can understand that. I couldn't stand that.
Don't worry, Missile.
Miss Camila?
I just know you and Sissy can make something happen. I believe in you. I'll be waiting here.
Now go! We'll see each other then, don't worry. She creeps me out when she does that. Miss Camila!
That's a good boy, Missile. You ready? Remember, 12 seconds.
We're ready.
Sissel,
Yeah?
we never found out who you really were. But that doesn't matter now. All I know is I'm truly glad I met you. Thanks for everything.
And I'm glad I met you, Detective.
We're gonna see each other again, right, Sissy and Missy?
That's right, we promise, little lady. Of course we will!
I'll never forget you no matter what happens.
Here goes then.
Good luck, friend!
Take us up! These 12 seconds are lasting an eternity. I strive to think of a way to save Lynn and the little lady the whole time. But how can a ray of light, of hope, reach this far down into the deep sea? Before I can think of an answer, the 12 seconds are up. Detective Jowd! I bet that big masked man did this. I'm gonna bite him. You better not, you might break your teeth. The command room's lost power and sinking, so I wonder what that masked man's gonna do. Let's talk to Jowd. Sorry for the wait, Jowd. Who are you? Are you Sissel? Please excuse my appearance. I can't believe you made it here. How's Camila and Lynn? Well, long story. And I told them what happened in the last couple chapters. The submarine's badly damaged? Why would he do that to his own submarine? Wish I knew. I know the answer to that one. It's because he's afraid of my powers. You! How did you even follow us? Please. Do you know how badass I am? Look at me. I've been doing this for like the whole game. It's been 10 long years, Detective Jowd. Are you Yomiel? So you remember me, do you? How could I possibly forget? So that's your real name, huh? Yomiel. That's right. But those people on the Yanoa calling you Sissel. That's just an alias I was using for my deal. I didn't have any need to tell them my real name. Could you do me a favor? Would you let me ask you some questions? I've been trying to find out my true identity all night. It's been like 30 episodes. Work with me here. Why not? I'm sure there's plenty we can still tell you, right, Jowd? Right. 10 years ago, you were a top systems engineer, weren't you? Systems engineer? What's that? By the way, I'm a top Pomeranian, you know. Well, it's kind of hard to explain to a dog, but it's a person who's good at using computers. I don't mean to brag, but I was one of the best in the industry. That's how I got roped into joining that project. What project? It was a project aimed at reorganizing the nation's top secret information. The goal was to build a new system using multi-dimensional programming theory. I was asked to join the project by an agent of the government. It doesn't sound like something a Pomeranian would know anything about. To me, it just sounded like another challenging job. However, this project was also the target of a secret plot. I bet you can imagine the kind of crime the nation's top secrets might attract. I never thought for the life of me I'd ever have to deal with spies. It was never made public, but every organization in the country moved on this one. And then one day the name of a certain programmer emerged as a suspect. I was the guy who built the core of the system. The police arrested you and then that incident happened. He escaped from the interrogation room and took little Lynn as a hostage. By the way, Jowd, when was it that I was proven innocent? About 6 months after your death. I'm so sorry, Yomio. "10 years ago. My soul was split from my body and I lost everything. I was sealed in eternal darkness. I existed in this world, no question about that. But nobody noticed my presence. What good were my powers? They didn't help anybody. Not even the passage of time could heal my pain. In fact, it only made it worse. I wanted to disappear. But I wasn't even allowed to do that. The way Lynn described it is exactly right. Sinking slowly toward the bottom of an endless sea. An overwhelming feeling of loneliness and despair. And I wanted all of you to suffer what I was suffering. And so that's why you murdered Alma? That's right. I wanted you to know what it was like to lose everything you cared about. I wanted you to feel the same pain I felt. What? It was the twisted wish of a mind poisoned by infinite loneliness. And then, as I was plotting my revenge, I had an idea. I came up with a plan to use these powers of mine to make a deal. There's something I just don't understand about the deal. I'm sure your powers would be valuable, but what would you get out of the deal, huh? A new life. Life? I asked them for 2 conditions. They would help me with my revenge plot, and the second, a rebirth. A rebirth, a new beginning, huh? I didn't care if it was fake life, an artificial life. I just wanted a physical receptacle for my soul, a name, an identity, an everyday life. I wanted to grow old in a society that would accept me. And finally, I wanted to die, surrounded by a loving family. That's the kind of life I asked them for. A completely man-made life? That's right. I knew I couldn't hope for anything more than that. To make it all come true, I knew it would take a lot of money and a lot of power. That's why I decided to ask a national government to help me. And their response in the end was betrayal. They were making their moves much more carefully than I suspected. They sent spies to the country and researched my powers on their own. And they even figured out what Tenzing was all about. And you had no idea they were doing all this? None at all. I was a fool. So then, why'd you go all the trouble making a deal with you? Why didn't they just steal the hunk of Tenzing meteorite from the park? They couldn't. Huh? After the manipulator incidents, research was conducted in this country too. A report was submitted to the government about the source of the manipulator's power. By Inspector Capanella and the old pigeon guy, huh? At first, the government didn't believe the report. But then they decided to put the park under surveillance just in case. Surveillance, huh? It just looks like an ordinary peaceful park, but there are armed agents there at all times. Don't tell me the odd leaflet guy's a fucking armed soldier! No, not him, he's just an odd person. Thank God. That would have been so good, but so bad. That park is like a silent battlefield on an international scale. So that's why they couldn't steal the Temsic meteorite. And lately, under the pretense of building a housing site, they've been working on a plan to destroy that park in order to secure the Temsic meteorite. So that's it, huh? So the upshot of your grand deal was this, huh? Yeah, it's the ending I deserve. But at least there's one thing you must be happy about. And what's that? You've managed to seal me away at the bottom of the sea forever. Well, shall we get started? With what? Bringing Detective Zhao back to life, of course. What good will that do now? We promised. We promised to make Miss Lynn and Miss Camila, we'd save them. We can't do that without you, Detective Zhao. I've been guided by fate tonight to this place. I won't give up now. Fine then. Let's see where it leads us. Here we go. So, where are we headed? We are not headed anywhere, Detective. What? There was only enough fuel on board to launch us away, Detective. We will run out soon, and that will be our destination, Detective. What are you talking about? That would mean that you're trapped in here too! Ah! By the way, I'm not human, Detective. I'm a remote-controlled robot, Detective. What?! Your country's use of technology is just plain off. We get that a lot, Detective. Trust me. Why would you go all the trouble to do this? That's nothing but a shell there. It's hardly a threat anymore. Commander Sid likes to provide against any possibility, no matter how small, Detective. Possibility? What are you talking about? There's no need for you to know, Detective. Wait. I've got it. What the? Also, goodbye. Now's the time to say goodbye, Detective. In the end, your fate remains the same as seems, Detective. Ugh, Camila, forgive me. Oh, that's the first time we actually kind of see them get shot and killed before the Flash. It isn't over yet. It isn't? Remember what the big masked man said? Any possibility, no matter how small? Possibility. In other words, there must be a chance in this room. There's a reason they launched this room. Huh? What is it, Detective? Look at Yomiel's shell. There's no aura. Of course there isn't. The fragment's gone. Did the change in his shell give us some kind of lead? I figured it out. I know the possibility they're afraid of. And what is it? My time was stopped thanks to Temsic. His body cycled between his life and death. Right, but not anymore. The fragment's taken away. Exactly, so you know what that means. Oh my fuck. Your body's not coming back to life. The moment Temsic fragment was removed, my shell became a corpse. That means we can go back 4 minutes before your death a decade ago. Wait a minute. When is that death? We'll find out. When we get there, let's move. Holy crap. We're pushing it. I fell back through the cracks of time for what seemed like forever, and then I saw it. The final death at the end of the long night. The final challenge. Who exactly am I? I've already seen all the clues. All I have to do now is remember. The final journey to the truth starts now.